Welcome back to the Matt Talks Ball YouTube channel. Yes, it's been a little while. I've had job changes, I've had holidays, it's all been happening, but we're back with a bang. I say a bang, sadly, not on the back of a win. Obviously, Newcastle came out on top at the weekend, 2-1 victory. Absolutely gutting, of course. Going into the international break, we beat Liverpool 3-0 on our own patch. It felt like City were about to have a lift-off. And on the back of the weekend's defeat, there's been an awful a lot of chatter around Manchester City. You know, lack of goal scorers apart from Haaland, etc., etc. We've heard it all before. But there's quite a lot that people aren't really talking about. And I want to get into that in this video. So here are 5 things that people just simply aren't talking about when it comes to Manchester City at the moment. Number 1, it's a big one, but Rodri. City are without Rodri. I think a lot of people across the board are forgetting this. You know, in the Manchester City fan base, don't you worry, we know it. But I think, you know, you're talking Man United, you're talking Liverpool, you're talking Arsenal fans, Chelsea fans. No one's mentioning the fact that we're missing our best player. You're missing a player that won the Ballon d'Or a year ago, was the best player in the world. Don't get me wrong, we missed him last season. We've had him a little bit this season. But of course, he's had his injury problems. He's been in and out of the medical room at Manchester City. So, of course, you lose him. You're losing his leadership. You're losing a quality footballer. You're losing his creativity. You're losing everything. That guy does the role of about 2 or 3 players in the Manchester City team. Don't get me wrong, if he comes back into the team whenever he's fit, it's not going to be the Rodri we know and love. But I think the form of Nico Gonzalez combined with Rodri, I've said this in the past, I think the pair of them would be fantastic, especially in a game like Newcastle at the weekend. You're up against such an intense engine room that's Tonali, Guimaraes, and of course Joe Linton, and I think that really would have helped because of course you had Bernardo Silva and Phil Foden, and it was a physical mismatch at times. So yeah, I think a lot of people are forgetting the fact that City are without Rodri, but when he gets back, hopefully he can stay fit, regain some momentum, and the second half of the season, we're going to have the best player in the world back fighting in a Manchester City shirt, and that is massive. Another thing I want to talk about, I don't want to be too negative, but it's our fullbacks. I've been very impressed, by the way, with both Matheus Nunes and Nico O'Reilly, both taking very different stories this season. Matheus Nunes, of course, filled in at right back a little bit last season. Wasn't unbelievable by any means. Did a decent job, mainly because we had no one else to do it. But this season, Pep's been opting for him. I mean, Kusanov went down at the Emirates couple of months ago now, and Nunes has been a mainstay at right back ever since, and you know what, he's barely put a foot wrong. He's been pretty decent, not doing anything unbelievable, but doing a very solid job. And Nico O'Reilly on the left hand side, I think I've read a few reports that, you know, the plan wasn't for Nico O'Reilly to continue as a left back this season, and you know, we brought in Aït-Nouri in the summer, so that was clear. He's found his way back at left back, and yeah, he's been absolutely perfect, and he's earned that England call-up. But I would say, with the pair of them, there are the odd moment where if you had someone who's maybe got a bit more natural defensive instinct, like a Nathan Ake or a Kyle Walker of old, you might be a little bit assured. There was a few moments against Newcastle where, you know, the first goal for Newcastle, Nico O'Reilly did this very lazy, not very instinctive for a defender, let's just say, clearance, and then that kind of led to the first goal for Newcastle. Not to say he was at fault, but definitely played his part. Matheus Nunes as well, I think he's solid enough to do a job for City, especially if we want to win the league. I definitely do. But I do think a lot of people are forgetting we've essentially got 2 midfielders playing at fullback. Like, that is nuts. So you're taking out a lot of defensive nous in the team, especially if you've not got Rodri. So really, you're looking at, you've only got 3 players, excluding Donnarumma, of course, 3 players there who have like a real defensive ability, you know, in Gvardiol, Diaz and Nico Gonzalez. You could argue Nunes and O'Reilly, they're kind of learning on the job. Doing a very good job, but they're learning on the job nevertheless. Next up is our goalkeeper, Gianluigi Donnarumma. Of course, my last video I uploaded was talking about how important that signing was for Manchester City, and I still back him. I still think he is definitely one of the best goalkeepers in world football. That there is no doubt. However, I think a lot of people see the name come in and expect immediately for him to be perfect, immediately to be flawless. And to be fair, he did have some very good performances early on. Not to say he's having bad ones. Even at the weekend against Newcastle, made some absolutely tremendous saves. But there are a few shaky moments with his feet that are creeping in. And they were concerns when we first signed him, but I think the glamour of the signing kind of sugar-coated over it. And I think we are seeing that. We are seeing a transition period between Ederson and Donnarumma, and I think a lot of people are forgetting that. You know, we had a goalkeeper who was with us for 8 years. All the players around him, including him, knew exactly what was going to happen. I mean, to be fair, watching Edison over the years, you all know that he will do something crazy out of nowhere. But in terms of the build-up and everything, you know exactly what he's going to do. There was a moment against Newcastle early on in the game. Donnarumma played a sloppy pass to Foden, nearly scored. Harvey Barnes should have scored. And there was another moment where he was playing out from the back. Josko Vardio was pointing forward. He wanted it, you know, so he could run onto it. And he passed it just behind him, and it just set City on the back foot early doors. So I think a lot of people are forgetting that. I'm very much convinced Donnarumma is good enough for Manchester City. He's an absolute world beater. I think he's got a lot to improve, and I think he will. But yeah, just I think a lot of people are forgetting this. And the fourth thing that a lot of people just aren't talking about when it comes to Manchester City, it's similar to Liverpool. In fairness, not very often that I will give Liverpool their credit, their due. But there's been an awful lot of change at Manchester City. In the last 12 to 18 months, the most successful squad in Manchester City history, the treble-winning squad, has been absolutely ripped to shreds. You look at it now, there's barely any of them left. There's Ruben Dias still there, Rodri still there, Foden still there, Haaland, of course, a few more. But, you know, the majority that have moved on, Grealish, Gundogan, etc., they're not there anymore. City have had to rebuild again. And don't get me wrong, we're blessed with riches. We're blessed choosing some of the best players in the world. You know, some of the signs we've made are absolutely incredible. But this isn't a computer game. You don't go and sign the best players. They come into your team and everything's perfect. You look at Liverpool, they've signed Alexander Isak and Wirtz for, you know, nearly combined 250 million. They've not hit the ground running. That's not how it works. Arsenal, there's no surprise that they're top of the league right now. They've been gradually building for the last 5, 4, maybe even 6 actually seasons. Just slowly but surely, Arteta's been adding a little piece here and there. Don't get me wrong, do I think they'll win the league? History tells me that I don't think they will. But right now, they are in the strongest position. All their players know each other. They've played with each other for absolutely years. Ours, not so much. They're still learning that. So, you know, we've got to remember that this Manchester City team isn't the Manchester City team that won the treble. It's a new generation, and they need to learn to win themselves. Hopefully they can do that this season. But of course, with a lot of change, you need time, you need patience. So hopefully it clicks. Hopefully we can go on a run that we know we can do. Years gone by, we've gone on these unbelievable runs, putting pressure on the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal. But this new set of players need to figure it out. They need to find that winning formula themselves and stop losing games, because you can't keep losing games the way we have done and win the league. And my final point is probably a bit more of a personal frustration at the moment. And it's not very often that I criticise Pep Guardiola. I think he's got unlimited credit in the bank. He could do anything from now till the end of his tenure at Manchester City. I'm never going to, well, I'm questioning it now, I suppose, but I'm never going to damn the man for it. But at the moment, I'm looking at the substitutions he's making, especially against Newcastle at the weekend. You know, we're looking for a goal. Cherki, Foden, Doku, they're all creating chances, having a pretty decent game, all of them, Doku especially. And Pep Guardiola turned to his bench, but he brought on Oscar Bob and Savinho, 2 players who, in fact, scream the opposite to goal threat at the moment. I know that sounds harsh, but the pair of them haven't proven that over the course of this season so far, so why would you turn to them? And the guy that he leaves on the bench till 5 minutes to go, Omar Marmoush, I don't know the stats, I don't know the exact numbers, but Marmoush, I swear, since he's come back from his injury, every time he comes on, it is for the last 5 or 4 minutes. What do you expect the centre forward to do? You know, he obviously scored the winner, but you want to give him more time, surely. And Marmoush is a guy that can score from absolutely nothing. We saw what he's got in his locker last season. Scored Premier League goal of the season. He scored hat-tricks for City last season, and he joined in January. He came in and hit the ground running. And for City to have any success this season, I think Omar Marmoush has to play a big role, and I think that is Guardiola's next challenge, fitting in the likes of Jeremy Doku, Phil Foden, Omar Marmoush, and Erling Haaland all in one attack. I know that's not easy. I know that sounds like I'm playing FIFA, squeezing everyone into one team. But you absolutely need Marmoush. He's an absolute killer. And you saw the other day, of course, Phil Foden, Erling Haaland. Normally I would bet my savings on the pair of them hitting the back of the net. Both of them missing big chances. Now, realistically, there probably are only 2 real goal threats. Maybe Jeremy Doku, you could argue, of late. But if you have Omar Marmoush as well, you've got an extra guy in there who is a clinical finisher. And I just believe that we're not utilising his strengths. We're not utilising him at all or enough. So that's a problem of mine at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 5 things we've talked about there. What do you want to see Pep Guardiola change in the next game? Of course, got Bayer Leverkusen tomorrow. And please leave a like on this video, subscribe for more. But now I'm back, going to be a bit more consistent with videos. So yeah, please stay tuned and see you soon. Up the Blues.